Thanks for joining me today. Our topic for today is how MicroStation Connect Edition can solve business issues critical to government. So we're going to take a closer look at some of the things that Connect Edition brings for users who are responsible for infrastructure assets and making sure that all of the data is safe and accessible. So we're interested in making sure that you can represent accurate conditions of your designs to save time. We want to be able to integrate any data type because as a large organization, you're probably taking data from many different users in many different locations. So you need to be able to integrate all that information. We then want to be able to communicate all of that information in a way that is easy to access and has complete information. And we want to talk about iModels here and show you what we've done with iModels in the Connect Edition to help disseminate all of the information that you've gathered on your infrastructure asset. Then we want to make sure that we have good security. We want to be able to securely exchange that information, not only across disciplines, but to all project participants. And to make sure that we are meeting all of our regulatory requirements, we want to be able to make sure that we have precise, consistent drawings and models so that there's a clear communication between what we want to deliver and what is required of us. So time, reliability, cost, and regulatory risk are things that we want to make sure that we address. Let's get started by just taking a look at some of the highlights of MicroStation Connect Edition. We released our first edition of MicroStation Connect Edition back in September of 2015, so 2 years ago. We've been trying to produce 4 releases a year, so we have this heartbeat release cycle. We understand that many of you are used to your mobile experience, and so your phone and tablets update automatically. There's a new version of a specific app available every couple weeks or every month or 2 months, and we want to sort of emulate that, take advantage of the fact that we can now push out releases faster, fix bugs faster. We also have rewritten MicroStation Connect Edition to be a 64-bit design, making it very fast and handle even larger files. So if you're working with large point clouds or reality meshes or large three-dimensional files, performance is even better than it was before. We have used the Windows 8.1 desktop user interface to create an updated user experience for you. So this is basically using the ribbon. So if you're familiar with Office products, you're familiar with the interface of MicroStation. In addition, we've done some additional things to the ribbon and to MicroStation in general to provide you powerful search capabilities built into, logical places. So search the ribbon, search for levels, search for all sorts of stuff. When you have long lists or things that are hard to find, search has been enhanced substantially in MicroStation Connect Edition. We are currently shipping MicroStation Connect Edition Update 6. So we've done 6 updates since our first release in September of 2015. And in October, we'll be releasing MicroStation Connect Edition Update 7. And that's just a couple weeks away. One of the great things about MicroStation, of course, is that once you learn it, you've learned a lot of other software, basically. You've learned the basics of EcoSim, OpenRoads, OpenPlan, Bentley Map, and many other applications because it shares the same interface. The way you draw lines, the way everything works in the basic system is the same between all of our applications. So we talk about a platform here, and MicroStation is actually one of the consumers of the platform, and all of these are also consumers of our platform technology. So learn one, you know many. Just take a quick look at our quarterly updates. We have been pushing out a version of MicroStation about every 3 months, starting in about May of 2016. It took us a little while to ramp up this whole heartbeat release cycle. But you'll notice about approximately every 3 months we've had a new update. And again, what this means is that new features, new technology, performance improvements, bug fixes, all of that happen at a much more rapid rate than they did in the past, which is kind of exciting for us because we can do 2 things here. once you have an issue and you're like, I need this fixed, we have an opportunity to fix it in a much more rapid fashion than we were in the past. In addition, when something interesting comes along, we can push that out to you very quickly and allow you to test and try this stuff out very easily. So it's important if you're interested in helping us with improving the product. Just I'll put my email at the end of the session so you can contact me and we can get you included into our beta programs so that you can help push MicroStation Connect Edition forward. So some general questions that people ask. What are the supported operating systems for MicroStation Connect Edition? We prefer that you use Windows 10 or Windows 8.1. Windows 764 still works, as well as the server versions of the 64-bit versions of the server products from Microsoft. So basically, it is designed around Windows 10, and that's our preferred operating system. It has to be a 64-bit operating system, though. Now, what about the file format? Did you change the DGN file format? No, we did not. We don't do that. We're very clear that version and format are the jobs of computer scientists. They're not the jobs of users. You shouldn't have to worry about file format. You shouldn't have to worry about versions. That's what we get paid for. So we did not change the file format. What about DGN libs, resource files, or any other Bentley file format? Again, no, we don't do that. We did not change any of that. So if you have resource files from 6 versions ago, they still work. DGN libs from MicroStation V8 still works. How about multiple versions of MicroStation on the same workstation? You can absolutely do that. So you can run MicroStation V8i, MicroStation Connect Edition, MicroStation V8 XM. I even had SE and J on my system at one point. So all works well together. Not an issue at all. What about my macros and my custom programs like MDLs and VBAs? Well, since we moved from 32-bit to 64-bit, the MDLs, so the custom programs using C or C++, will need to be recompiled to 64-bit. We do have some training on how to do that, and we have lots of resources that are made available to you. Again, I'll drop my email in at the end of the session, and you can go ahead and contact me if you're interested in learning more about how to upgrade your MDLs. VBAs, well, that's one of the nice things about VBA. They work automatically. You're not going to have to worry about that. Your VBAs should run the way they do in V8i as they will in Connect Edition. Of course, you should test that, but they do not need to be recompiled. There's lots of places where you can get more information. We certainly want you to go to learn.bentley.com. There's special interest groups. There's virtual learning conferences and live conferences. So I'll bring up some. There's a new live conference coming up in Phoenix. Hopefully you'll be able to join us in a couple of weeks in Phoenix. Other products upgraded to Connect Edition. Yeah, there's a long list of this now. Probably one of the holdbacks for a lot of people to jump to Connect because their favorite vertical was not available, but now virtually everything is out there. Navigator, ProjectWise, Descartes, OpenRoads Designer for civil design, EcoSim Building Designer for architectural design, and it's a long list of other products that are available on Connect Edition. So, good idea to get started with your testing as soon as possible. With regards to Real DWG, we are supporting the latest version of Real DWG. That's Real DWG 2018. That is a file format change for the DWG file format. So please be aware of that. And we continue to support all versions of DWG back to release 14. Okay, so let's get into what we are really want to talking about today, and that is critical business issues for government. Well, we want to talk about how we can get an idea of the real-world existing conditions that we're going to be designing in. A lot of us start off our designs with a blank piece of paper, but it is kind of helpful to actually start your design within the context of the real world. So communicating your design intent or evaluating a design in the context of where it is really easy with MicroStation Connect Edition. This is going to save time and eliminate errors. So basically what we're trying to do here is provide an easy way for you to create a three-dimensional model of the place that you're going to be doing your design. And you can do this simply through digital photographs. So you can take photographs from a drone or photographs from your camera, from an airplane, whatever it happens to be, and you can overlay them. Essentially, you have to overlap them a bit, but then you can pull them into our context capture application, and you can produce a three-dimensional model from it. Used to be a 3MX file format for context capture. We now have 3SM for the scalable mesh, and I'll talk about that in just a couple minutes here. But take photographs, do some magic with the software, create a 3D model. How does it do this? Well, one of the ways it does it is through the use of drones. You need to have overlap between consecutive photos. Each point in the model must be seen by 3 photographs. You have to have a bit of overlap there, but essentially you fly your drone around the object and you get your three-dimensional model from that. All right, so what about the accuracy and how does it actually produce this reality mesh? The accuracy is 2 times the pixel resolution. So if 1 pixel covers 1 centimeter, 1 pixel covers 1 square centimeter, then the resolution of your reality mesh is 2 centimeters. So it's 2 times the pixel resolution. So, and that's 2 centimeters per pixel. So if you use GPS, you can get a lot better accuracy. You get better scale control as well as georeferencing. The best way to get the best spatial accuracy is through the use of a ground control point. And you can sort of see one of these here. Might be something like this. A ground control point could be also the corner of a curb. It could be a storm sewer, a manhole. You can use whatever you want to, but you should know precisely where this point is. So if you know the exact GPS coordinate of this point, it'll increase the spatial accuracy of your model. And honestly, today with the 8K cameras, even the 4K cameras, the difference between lasers and laser scanning and photography is honestly within the error range of the sensors, given that you have adequate pixel resolution, enough pixels. So, we're on the verge here of actually being able to replace laser scanning with photographs. So much easier. So, what's new for MicroStation Connect Edition reality modeling? Well, we provided some interesting tools here, so we're really working hard in this area. First of all, we've provided something called reality mesh classification. So where we take our reality mesh, as you can see here, this three-dimensional model of the city of Philadelphia, and we underlay it with this SHP file from ESRI. So we take our GIS-enabled information, and then we merge it with our three-dimensional reality mesh. This provides us the ability to identify individual objects within the mesh, like a specific building here. Not only that, but we can actually also get all of the GIS properties that go with that particular building. So not only do you get the ability to individually select objects in the reality mesh, but you also get all of the properties. In addition, we provided a new reality mesh clipping tool to clip out the area of interest, so you can work with a small area of the mesh and do your work in a tighter, more focused method. In addition, we've also provided a ProjectWise Context Share cloud service. And the ProjectWise Context Share is a cloud service for storing, managing, and sharing reality data. It does use a connected ProjectWise project. So I'll talk about this a little bit later as well. But basically, you're using the cloud here to manage, store, stream, and share your reality meshes. The new file format is the scalable mesh. This is the 3SM file format. So here you can see an image, and you can sort of look at this building here. Look at the windows. You can barely make them out. They're of fuzzy. With a scalable mesh, you can zoom in even further and you get a lot more detail. So you can see very clear imagery here as things get cleaned up a lot better with the new 3SM format. This does it through a tiling system, so it brings in additional tiles of information as you get closer and closer. We've also added something called the Context Capture Cloud Processing Service. This allows you to instantly upload images. You can define your settings like your ground control points, as well as create a three-dimensional reality mesh using the cloud. Now, it can take a while to process on a single machine, so this is where cloud services really make a lot of sense. Because not only can you store a lot of stuff on a cloud, when a lot of us think of the cloud, we think of it as a large hard drive or storage area on the internet. But actually, if you stop and think about it, there's a lot of processors there too. So there's a lot of computers on the cloud that make up the cloud, and if you need to, you can say, I'd like to take 1,000 processors and throw it at my reality mesh job, and because I need it within the next 5 minutes. So it's basically, the cloud is really a supercomputer at your fingertips. So you can also use this cloud processing service from an app. So you can go around with your phone or your tablet. You can quickly take pictures with those devices, your phone or tablet, and then upload it to the cloud service, and then have it processed there, and you get your reality mesh within a few minutes. So whether it's the desktop or mobile, the Context Capture Cloud Processing Service is really a big step forward in reality mesh processing. So kind of looking at it in general, you can integrate raster, your reality mesh, which is this existing area here, as well as your MicroStation designs on the left there. So there you can sort of see the reality mesh of a plant, your MicroStation design on the left, and then you can actually go in and add your GIS data to your reality meshes, so I can isolate individual buildings. Here we have Penn State University. That's the old main building in the middle of the campus. All of the information about this building is actually being processed right here, so you can see, you can bring in all the information for this building. So there's all the work orders that are required to work on this building. This automatically can connect to ProjectWise, where you can find the service work orders, as well as the manuals to go ahead and actually work on this particular building. You can also go in and do queries on this reality mesh, so you can look for all buildings that have a work order outstanding. So you can look for a specific type of status of buildings that require specific materials or have work orders with specific materials, and then you can query your mesh and find out about it. Here you can isolate specific buildings by finding them by name, and then go ahead and look at their work orders and what type of things need to happen in order to move forward with that. Reality Meshes also provides with a lot of additional capabilities. For example, you can do conceptual design. So starting from existing conditions is better than starting with a blank canvas. So any future infrastructure products can be integrated into the city and the areas that you're working with. So this allows us to understand better how to integrate our new infrastructure with our existing infrastructure. This is something that we've been thinking about lately, disaster impact. Obviously, this is a critical kind of a thing. We want to get out there as quickly as possible to find out what's been broken. One of our customers is NHK, one of the world's largest news organizations that is using the software to produce three-dimensional content. They fly over a disaster area with a helicopter, acquiring images and videos. They then turn this into 3D models, which are used by the evening news using a special viewer and on the web, where you can actually fly around and see exactly what's going on. So a lot of other agencies are looking at this now because it certainly makes a lot of sense. So whether it's FEMA or a local agency that needs to manage disasters, this is the quickest way to get out there and find out exactly what part of your infrastructure is broken. Other places it makes a lot of sense is when you're doing surveying. This could be stockpile monitoring. It doesn't have to necessarily be this is showing a mining application here, where you can go as open pit mine and very quickly assess and measure the volumes. But it can also be used for construction stockpiling. So when you've got to bring things in, you can see whether or not things have been removed, so there's enough space to add the new materials that you're bringing in for construction. Finally, there's a lot of this, and that is as-built structures modeling. There's a lot of infrastructure out there that does not have three-dimensional models associated with it. So you can very quickly create three-dimensional models of your infrastructure simply by taking pictures of it. So in this particular case, you can see there's this 250 21 megapixel photographs. Resolution was 3 to 4 centimeters per pixel, and it took 4 hours on one computer. And you can very easily increase all of those things with more pictures and more pixels with better cameras to get better resolution. But as you can see, it's actually pretty decent resolution. Now, another aspect of reality modeling is creating three-dimensional representations of the existing infrastructures that you're working on through point clouds. And of course, point clouds allow you to get an accurate model of your infrastructure using laser scanning technology. In the past, you would use point clouds simply as the context for your models to create renderings and fly-throughs or better understand the site conditions. But now you can also do modeling inside the point cloud, so you can create geometry directly based on the point cloud information. And it's significantly faster than it was in the past. So now you can create precise vector geometry that can serve as the basis for your design. So point clouds are also enhanced in MicroStation Connect Edition. So just to recap here, we support 83 different raster formats. That's image formats. There's ability to do automatic spatial location for those images. There's 14 different native point cloud formats, so you can pull in data from a variety of places. Plus there's streaming support if you want to do point cloud streaming. Then, of course, the big story is reality meshes, where you have scalable three-dimensional meshes. And you can use our native format, which is 3MX or 3SM, as well as be able to geospatially locate all of the information and classify it and produce it on the cloud. All right, so integrating data types. Well, we well know that there are many different types of data that come into a project. One of the ways we want to integrate all of this stuff is to use iModels. So here's a quick what's changed with iModels in MicroStation Connect Edition. So the first thing that we did was to provide you the ability to select a version of the iModel file to create. So you'll be able to select, open, and publish version 1.5, 1.6, or 2.0. So what does that mean, really? Version 1.0 was the .i.dgn, so V8i stuff. 1.5 is the initial version of Connect Edition, which is the .imodel file. We updated this to 1.6 to support some new things in Navigator. And then we'll be producing a version 2.0, which will probably be the endpoint of all of this. Everything will finally roll up into 2.0 as we complete our iModel development and story. So version 2.0 is the golden land. It's the promised land of iModels, and we're almost there. Something else that we added for iModels in MicroStation Connect Edition is the ability to select the content to be published. So you can choose to publish all content, displayed, reference attachments, raster attachments, or publish just a saved view, which is very nice. You can also do embedding of documents. So if you have a link to a PDF, a link to a JPEG, a link to a Word document or Excel spreadsheet, you'll follow those links, it'll grab and publish that information, and then embed those Word documents, those JPEGs, those PDFs into your iModel. So the actual PDF is inside your iModel. In addition, you could also publish your iModel to the cloud, and we're working on some additional things that you can do with the iModel on the cloud. Some really exciting stuff that we'll be unveiling in our year in infrastructure in a couple of weeks in Singapore. So, what about formats? Lots of different input formats. we have 91 plus, I don't know, whatever the list is there, probably over 100 formats when you consider versions. So multiple versions of DWG, multiple versions of everything else. When you consider all of the versions and all of the formats that we support, it's well over 100. Similarly, when you consider the number of output formats that we have, it's a bunch. So, MicroStation is often well known as being a universal translator, and we just continue to try to promote that and push its abilities to be able to take in any data from anywhere and push out data to anybody. So, it does this through the iModel, and the iModel is different because it than other file formats, because it pulls in project information that are required for fit for purpose. For example, multiple file formats and disconnected data make it somewhat impossible to manage things. But iModels are containers for conveying all of these deliverables and can be used to aggregate and exchange multidiscipline models. They're precise, they're self-describing, they contain both geometry and business data like Excel spreadsheets. They can be used, for example, to perform cost estimation, schedule simulation, class resolution. You can do field installation, quality assurance inspection, and much more. So users can add relevant information to their iModels to support the downstream activities through all the workflows. And iModels, of course, work with all of our applications. You can generate them from any application. They work with ProjectWise, and they work on the cloud. There's a lot of different powerful things that you can do with iModels. So, they're actually also pretty concise, so you don't need a lot of heavy-duty equipment to open, run, and analyze iModels. You can think of the iModel as kind of the PDF of the vector world. You can't change it, it's read-only. It's taking a snapshot in time and showing it to you. So lots of different vector and raster formats. We have digital rights management that control what you can do with each file and for how long. You can password protect your data. You can use digital certificates to protect and sign your data. And of course, you can publish three-dimensional geospatially enabled PDFs as well as iModels for everything else you need to do. So integration of data is well supported. The next thing we want to think about is how we can share this data securely, because we want to make sure that our data is secure. And Connect Edition is responsive to this and is very focused on making sure that your projects that you are working on are secure, yet they're personalized in a way that provides you the ability to become more productive and enable the understanding of your data better so you can get a better insight into your data. We do this through a variety of cloud services. So first we have our personal portal, and this is all about you. Here you can see upcoming Bentley events, and you can actually register for them right here. You can look at the recent connected ProjectWise projects that you're on here. And these are the projects that are actually on the cloud. You can share things with others here, iModels and PDFs, through your personal portal. And you can look at some featured projects. You go to the communities here, Bentley communities. There's quick access and support for all of your software downloads and service requests. Look at your product activity by application or project, as well as access your Bentley Learn content. So, getting access to all of this, pretty straightforward. It's on the web. It's connect.bentley.com. Connect.bentley.com. And once you have the connection client installed, which is installed automatically when you install MicroStation, once you have that installed, you'll get the ability to go ahead and log in and start to look at your personal portal and other portals. So there's your connection client. In addition, you can go and work with a project portal. And the project portal has been updated here as well. By the way, one of the great things about the cloud, this is fascinating stuff for me. It takes us about 3 months to put out a new version of MicroStation, which is just amazing, actually, when you think about it. It used to take us approximately 1.5 to 2 years between each release of MicroStation. If you look at SS3 to SS4, for example. Now we put it out every 3 months. Well, the cloud is even faster because it's essentially one place where we can put up applications and all sorts of stuff. We can update the cloud every 2 weeks, and in fact, that's what we do. Every other Thursday evening, the cloud gets updated. So these portals, if we add a new feature, like let's add in, project synchronization, deliverables management, dashboards. We want to create new dashboards for you. All of these things can be updated every 2 weeks. And that's one of the beautiful things about the cloud. You can get really quick access to new technology without a lot of trouble. So the project portal just focuses on a specific project. So perhaps there's some particular project that you're working on. This is a bridge of some sort, and you can manage who are the members on this team for this project, team members for this project. There's notifications. Here's where you can share information, and there's all sorts of other cloud services available to you here, like deliverables and managing your field data. And again, so this has a really nice look and feel to it. One of the nice things about this is the ProjectWise share here. This is actually on the cloud. ProjectWise is being used here as a brand. It does not mean the ProjectWise server. So ProjectWise is a brand within Bentley. So when you see ProjectWise here, this doesn't refer to the cloud and sharing, but it does not mean that you have to have the ProjectWise server, design integration server installed. This is all in the cloud. So here I can come in and add files. I can upload files. I can drag and drop files up here. They can be anything. iModels, DGN files, whatever I want. PDFs. Anything at all can be shared up through the ProjectWise share on the cloud. Now, this has unlimited data storage capabilities right now, so there is no limitation on how many gigabytes of data you want to put up here, but no fear putting your music videos up here. Unless it makes sense to your project. All right, so there's an enterprise portal as well. Now, this allows you to manage your entire organization. So whether it's a large department or a smaller department within your organization, you can manage that through the enterprise portal. So here you can see project activity around the world. You can see most active users, most actively used applications. You can manage users here, so there is access to our user management tool, so who has permissions to do what. There's further role-based access control, so you can set up user management. This person is an admin, this person is a designer, and then you can say designers can do these things, admins can do these things. So you can set up roles and permissions, you can manage who gets to download software, you can look at who's using what products, you can administer the software. So all sorts of interesting new things that we're adding here. And again, great thing about the cloud is we add stuff all the time, like this new ProjectWise context share that I talked about a little bit earlier that allows you to share, manage, stream, and control your reality meshes. So the enterprise portal, very helpful. So yeah, this is just one of the things I wanted to really emphasize here. Now, this comes back to security. So, sharing your data on the cloud, I know, it gives some people the creeps. They're like, I don't know if I want to put my data out there. It's a simple sharing tool, and it works with all the design tools. There's no IT investment required on your side. It gets rid of any custom or bespoke system that you've got, because you don't have to manage that. It's managed by Bentley and Microsoft. Microsoft is our service provider for the cloud. We use their Azure cloud services. And believe it or not, it is considered to be substantially more secure than individual organizations. Your individual organization, maybe the IT manager forgot to put a security patch on Friday, and now your company is vulnerable. That never happens in the cloud. There's people, teams and teams of people who are managing and concerned about security. Microsoft does a much better job of managing security than almost anybody else does. It's part and parcel of their business. So putting stuff on the cloud is, in my opinion, and in many other people's opinion, safer than putting it on your own servers. If you miss one patch on your server, your systems are open. Again, not going to happen in the cloud. All right. So I want to wrap up this cloud discussion with our cloud services subscription. This allows you to subscribe to all of the applications required for project delivery. These can be either hosted or on-premises services, cloud services, and managed services. So the cloud services subscription actually does a lot of stuff for you. Not just cloud services, but a lot of other things. This is the only program you need to manage all of these things. Applications that require term licenses. So if you need a term license, like a quarterly license or a license for half a year, it manages all of your passports and visas to access project-wise and asset-wise capabilities. So instead of having to go out and figure out who gets a visa, and then you have to pay for individual visas or individual passports to access project-wise and asset-wise, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You just manage through the cloud services subscription. Of course, it includes all of the cloud services that I had briefly shown earlier, as well as it provides us the ability to do a success plan with you for your managed services or services that Bentley manages. Now, here's the best part about it. It's easy to convert from your existing term license passports and visas, because all you have to do is add any amount of money to open a cloud services subscription. The cloud services subscription can be added for $100, $1,000, $10,000, whatever you want to do. If you just, what we're trying to encourage you here is just to get in there and try it out. Even if it just means $100, just go ahead and open up a cloud services subscription. You can then start to expand on that, and whatever money you're spending on passports, visas, and term licenses today, you can just dump that into your CSS, and you can manage it a lot easier. So it's one-stop shopping for all of these different types of services, including all of the cloud services. So I highly encourage you to talk to your account managers. It's a much better way of controlling a lot of different things like passports, visas, licenses, and cloud services. All right, so the cloud is all project-centric. We uniquely provide a hybrid cloud desktop environment. We are not forcing you to use the cloud. You can choose to use it if you want to. It's very flexible, and it works in either a connected environment or an offline environment. There's a lot of different analytics that I didn't show you, but it has got a lot of beautiful built-in dashboards, and who doesn't love a good dashboard? As well as it maintains, it shows you all levels of activities, and we've got users out there who are using it for project management. How many hours user X spend on project Y? So it provides a lot of analytics available. Of course, you can have a lot of interoperability here, publish and share any type of file format, and all sorts of support for transmittals, submittals, RFIs, and deliverables. All right, the last part we wanted to talk about here was our ability to ensure that we are delivering what we said we were going to deliver, or ensure we'll document reliability to mitigate regulatory risk. So Connect Edition provides new capabilities that save time and increase productivity because documentation is provided and done in a consistent way. We do this through something called the Documentation Center. Now, there actually isn't a button inside MicroStation that says Documentation Center. It's a generalized term for many things that help improve our workflows by essentially leveraging our design data, our property data, and providing a unique and simple way of bringing this all together. So we can aggregate data from a lot of different locations, including iModels. It comes from a lot of different disciplines, and then we want to compact all of that into through references usually into one object. We then take this and we then push these out to sheets. Now, if there's one thing I want you to think about when you think about MicroStation Connect Edition, and that is property driven. MicroStation Connect Edition is BIM ready, so it's information modeling ready. It provides intelligence that can then be pushed up in through the information modeling chain to OpenRoads Designer or OpenPlan Modeler or Ecosystem Building Designer or any one of our other information modeling or BIM applications. But MicroStation is the very basis for this. It provides property-driven display, property-driven reports, property-driven annotation, property-driven sheets. So you have consistent output of these sheets. So it uses drawing standards, reports, and all the properties. And this ensures that everybody does it the same way. Today, probably when you generate a sheet, you're going to get one person doing it one way, and the person sitting next to them is going to generate that sheet a completely different way. They have their own favorite way of creating sheets. Well, MicroStation Connect Edition unifies that process and streamlines the workflow for sheet creation so that people will do it the same way, using the same CAD standards, using the same methodologies and layouts. So basically, you have property-driven annotation. Here you can see, in this particular case, you have a label here. You just touch the object of interest, and it automatically reads the properties of that object, the ID, the volume, and the product in this case, and generates a label for you. So you don't have to type this in. That information is already there. So with the new Place Label tool, it's property-driven annotation. With property-driven display, you can control the display of the objects any way you want to. So I can say, show me the ones which have refined in green and the crude oil tanks in blue. So I can show this any way I want to. I can control the display of these things any way I want to. So property-driven display is done through something called display rules. This is something that we're very familiar with as CAD operators. It's like a pen table. So when you print, you sometimes want objects to come out gray or with a different line weight. So we use a pen table to remap objects from one set of properties to another. Same thing here. Display rules are a pen table in real time. It's a pen table on the screen, taking advantage of the properties. So then you can take these property-driven reports. So this table here, none of this was typed in. It was all generated automatically by me running a report saying, I want to show IDs, heights, diameters, volume, materials, and commodities on all of the tanks inside this drawing, and then run the report. So making life a lot easier. So you can actually generate these sheets very quickly. You can zoom into a location of interest. You can say, I'd like to actually apply a display style. So I can come in and use a display style to show things a little bit differently. So there we go. Then I can come in and place name boundaries. This one's going to be one of a grid type. So I can come in and place a couple of name boundaries. So I'm going to produce 2 sheets at one time. And I'm actually going to put them into a sheet index so that I can go ahead and control those sheets in the future, like renumber the sheets. So if I renumber one sheet, so here you can see the sheet index. If I renumber one sheet, I can automatically have the other sheets numbered. So here you can see there's a 401s through 404s. And I start with a 501. I'm going to change that to a 501 and then redo this, refresh. So now they're all 501s. That happened really quickly. I'm sorry about that. There's so much to show here. But here's your property-driven display. Property-driven annotation. You just touch the object and it fills out the text for you. How easy is that? There's your property-driven reports, property-driven sheets. Yeah, I think I've hammered the property-driven enough here. But it's awesome stuff. Now, this is actually just doing a couple sheets at a time. I can go in and change a whole bunch of data here. So that one I've changed to 765 liters per minute and for the flow rate. But everything's under my control here. If I need to refine it. Here's one for a civil application. You can take this name boundary, and I'm going to be taking this large sheet here, large drawing here, design, and I'm going to be producing sheets. Now, I can do a single or a grid, or now I can also do it in an array along a line. So I can also create an overlap. between each sheet. And soon we're going to have all sorts of really cool stuff here too. I mean, this is really cool, but we're going to be able to do automatic match lines. I'm really excited about that one. But watch this. Once one mouse button click, once I get to the end point here, get the right one. There we go. Put the last end point down. Start point of the path, end point of the path. And here we go. Zoom out a little bit. Look at all the sheets that it created for me. Oops. There we go. Here's all of those sheets that it created for me. It created like 36 sheets, I think. Something like that. In one mouse click. Well, a couple of mouse clicks. But now I can go in and actually look at these sheets individually. So, for example, if I want to drill into one of these sheets that I've just created, there we are. And it's easy enough to get into one of these. I can just, there's the, you can see it actually got names, it's got the station information. This is all done by fields, and then I can actually go look at them here. There you go. You can see that it actually pulls the border in, it fills in some of the title block information. I can even do, you can see I've done the vertical as well as the horizontal. There's so many powerful things you could do here. It did both of those things for me in one. Think about how long this would have taken manually. More importantly, this adheres to all of the CAD standards. So I don't have to worry about, gee, I wonder if they use the right font. I wonder if they use the right border. I wonder if they use the right, colors. No, it's done for you. It's all managed. It's actually unbelievably beautiful stuff. There's so much to talk about here inside the Documentation Center. So the Documentation Center makes sure that our extractions of our three-dimensional models happens in an automatic way. You can publish multiple sheets, what we call one-button publishing. Okay, a couple buttons, a couple clicks. But this makes sure that you have a fully integrated two-dimensional, three-dimensional workflow. Any changes that you make to the original design model are automatically reflected in the sheets. So you don't have to worry about, gee, do I have to cut another sheet? No, you don't. It's all done automatically for you. Enforcing the CAD standards through templates. You get these intelligent deliverables. You can actually add in hyperlinks to all sorts of things. So if you need to add hyperlinks to PDFs and other things. And remember, this is all property driven. Connect Edition is property driven because it's BIM ready. It leverages all the live properties or BIM information for all sorts of different things. And you gain consistency in your ability to create sheets and simplify that sheet production process. Plus the sheet indexing, which is awesome because it creates an index of all the sheets, lets you rename, renumber, and create rules to control the numbering and organization of sheets. All right, I kind of want to wrap up here with a couple of quick things. This is exciting news. Bentley LumenRT. LumenRT is our real-time. That's what RT is for. Rendering engine. It uses your video card to do the rendering, not your CPU. That's why it's real-time. So this allows you to add animated plants, people, water, weather, time of day. You can create cinematic quality images and videos very easily. You can use any type of models as your input source, and you can share it interactively through live cubes with any stakeholder. So it's fast, it's easy, it's beautiful. And here's the big news. Dun, dun, dun. We are including a free version of LumenRT. Right now it's tentatively called LumenRT Designer. It's got some limitations to it that we put in, so you can't do the live cubes, you can't do, I think, 8K output. I think 4K output is still there, but don't quote me on that. But nonetheless, you just install it with MicroStation, so you can start to get to use LumenRT, play with it, and you decide, I like LumenRT, I'm going to go ahead and enable the full version, which does require a license at a fee. But right now, with Update 7, there is a free version. That's my favorite word. All right, so LumenRT, it's, like I said, fast, easy, it's beautiful. This is such an amazing product. It should take you about half an hour to learn. Yeah, that's it. Believe it or not, this product was designed by an 11-year-old. Well, they designed the interface. It takes that Minecraft approach to it. You can paint in three-dimensional objects like these trees. You can control day or night by a simple slider. Even the headlights turn on automatically for you for the cars. It knows all of this stuff. You can control all of the traffic here through rules. You can even bring in your VISM, that's VISSIM information, or you can just go ahead and animate the cars the way you want to. Really simple, really easy, and you get this really beautiful cinematic quality output. What's great about LumenRT compared to anything else out there, it works with very large-scale projects, so you can work on large infrastructure projects, and it makes that much easier to work with. So where do I learn about stuff? Well, we have lots of places. Webinars like this, tech talks, special interest groups. You can find these at bentley.com/events. So, for example, you simply go to Bentley. There's the events tab or link. This will take you to all of the events that we have out there. For example, here's a Bentley Institute Learn conference coming up. This one is in Phoenix on open roads, October 23rd and 24th. It is primarily focused on open roads, but there are lots of other things available here. If you are a member of a DOT or an ELS subscriber, your attendance is free if you still are active with your ELS. There are also special interest groups. You can go back to that other link there and click on special interest groups. And then I just want to promote the one that we're doing this week here, where we go set it to MicroStation in English, and then we have one next week, exactly 1 week from today. We will be talking about basic drafting with MicroStation Connect Edition. We'll look at some of the basic drafting tools that we have available for MicroStation Connect Edition. So, special interest groups, just go to bentley.com/events to find all of that stuff. All right. Thank you for your time today. We're open for any questions, and hopefully I will have the answers. As well as, let me go ahead and put my email address in. So if you want to be included in our beta programs, you want more information on the cloud services, subscription, again, that's one of those really easy things to do. Don't need a lot of money to get it started, but it gets you a chance to go in and try all the cloud services, managed services, hosted, and on-premise services that we provide. As well as if you have any general questions about Connect Edition, please feel free to email me.